Hi and welcome. This video will highlight 5 mistakes that are typically undertaken by students when they take the Unit 3 BTEC Business exam. So in order for you to avoid making these mistakes, it would be useful to you to watch. Also, there will be a bonus tip at the very end to do with your 10 and 12 markers, so do stay tuned for that. Mistake number 1, and this tends to involve how students answer the calculation type questions. So the calculation type questions appear typically in section B of the paper, and they tend to be 3 and 4 mark questions. Now it's important that you know how to answer these questions because you don't want to not pick up on the marks that you actually deserve. It's important also that you know the formulas. So if you're not familiar with the formulas, then please do check out this video. I will put it in the description bar. It's got all the formulas that you need to know for Unit 3. Now, it's also important that you show workings. So your teacher might have told you this. It's very important to show workings. It's even written below the question at times, show workings. Problem being if you don't show workings. If your answer is incorrect and you've not shown any workings, then obviously you've lost out on marks. However, if you've shown workings and part of the workings that you've shown, part of your answer is correct, you can still gain marks. So the question now is, why not show workings? Also, please check your workings thereafter. Let's look at an example of a calculation question. A firm sells 6,000 units per month. The price charged was £6.80 per unit. The cost of sales was £28,000. Let's calculate the firm's gross profit. So, first thing you do is include the formula. Many students forget to include that or just don't bother. It's important to include the formula. It also helps give you some kind of guidance in regards to where the figures will actually go. So the formula for gross profit is sales revenue minus cost of sales. Now we are going to show our workings. So if you'd like to do this calculation as a bit of practice for your revision, then you can pause the video. But I will continue. So sales revenue is 6,000 units multiplied by £6.80, and our answer is 40,800. Then we need to deduct the cost of sales, which is £28,000. So 40,800 minus £28,000, and that equates to 12,800. So our gross profit is £12,800. Do not forget your pound sign. Mistake number 2 tends to come from the describe questions. So you might have a 2-mark describe question, for example, and here's some tips on how to answer it. And then next we will look at an example. So if 2 marks are available for a describe type question, then you need to describe one concept and develop it. So you could develop it by using connectives such as because, or you could develop it by using another sentence, but it must be developed. You do not include 2 concepts when it's a 2-mark question or if it asks you for one concept. So you need to ensure that you're aware of connectives as well. That can help you, but also I will show you how you can use a linked sentence to make sure that you get the full marks for these 2-mark questions. Every mark counts. It's important also to be guided by the marks. So this is a 2-mark question. Describe how using break-even could be useful for a business. So we're going to include one concept. If it was 4 marks, we would include 2 concepts, but make sure that they're both developed. Here's the answer. Break-even could be useful for a business to know how many units need to be sold in order to make a profit. It can help a business to plan production levels. So this is our one and only concept. Now we're going to add a linked sentence, such as planning any additional equipment or workers that might be needed. So that is our linked sentence. If we did not include that, then we may get 1 mark. So we need to ensure it's developed enough, or we have a linked sentence. We're not bringing in an additional concept. We are developing our initial concept. Mistake number 3, links to the case study. Some students just ignore the case study as if it wasn't there, as if it wasn't written by the senior examiners, as if it does not exist at all. Please do not do that. You want to get your application marks. You need to show application to the case study and also give links between other factors. So there might be other things that are happening in the case study that you could actually refer to. You should ensure that your answer is contextualized. So try not to use the word product when you are aware of the business and what it actually sells. So for example, if it's an airline, we wouldn't say that they sell products. We know they sell airline tickets. If it's a restaurant, a pizzeria, for example, we could say that they sell food or they sell pizzas instead of using the word product. If it's a car dealership, instead of saying product, we could say cars because we're aware. And that helps to contextualize our answer. Also, where necessary, you could refer to the industry they're in or their competitors or actually what the business does. So work on ensuring that your answer is applied to the case study, to the business, and if necessary to the industry as well. So mistake number 4 is not managing your time effectively. Running out of time and not being able to complete all of the questions in the question paper, which is a real shame because there are marks available that one could have earned and they haven't because they haven't managed their time effectively. So the exam is for 2 hours. You need to ensure that you have left sufficient time to complete your 10 and your 12 markers. You do not want to miss out on answering them. You might want to practice past papers under timed conditions prior to your exam. So I will put a link in the description bar where you can access the BTEC past papers from Pearson, and you can also check the mark scheme, and that can also help, as well as the examiner reports. You should answer the questions in the order that suits you best. So it's entirely up to you how you want to answer them, as long as you answer all the questions. Okay, so whatever order you want to answer them in. Please do keep an eye on the clock. So you don't want to be told that the exam is over and you weren't aware of how much time is left. Okay, so make sure you keep an eye on the clock as well. Mistake number 5 tends to link to the approach to answering 6-mark questions. You need to ensure that you show accurate and thorough knowledge. So you need to know key terms and definitions. You need to know your topics. You need to be able to answer them to show that you have a good understanding. You might also want to start off your 6-marker with defining a key term. That might give your answer, help to give your answer some structure as well. You should ensure that you have a well-developed answer. So in terms of developing your answer, you could use key connectives such as because and leads to and therefore and furthermore, etc. This video will help you with showing analysis within your answers. If the command word requires you to discuss, which typically for a 6-mark question, that's a command word that is frequently used, then it's very important for you to look at the pros and cons. So some students do not use or show pros and cons when they are supposed to. So if the command word says discuss, then you should look at the advantages and the disadvantages as well. If the command word is explain, then you do not need to do so. You should use specialist and technical language consistently. So throughout your answer, you should actually show that you're aware of certain technical language. Let's have a look at the bonus tip. And here's your bonus tip. So as you know, the bonus tip is to do with the 10 and 12-mark questions. So I'm not going to go into detail here about the 10 and 12-mark questions. That is in another video. However, this is a common mistake that students make when they sit the Unit 3 exam and answering the 10 and 12-mark questions. They do not evaluate. Their answer isn't balanced. You will see command words typically for these questions. They could be evaluate, it could be discuss, although sometimes a 6-marker is discuss, or it could be assess. You must look at both sides. Your answer cannot be one-sided. It's very important because you will lose out on marks. You must show the pros and cons. You've got to show competing arguments because these are higher order skills, again, that they're looking for, and they're looking for you to have mastered this. So please, when it comes to 10 and 12-mark questions, ensure your answer is balanced, looks at both sides. Thank you for watching this video, and good luck in your studies.